Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm Amanda.
I'm just happy to be here. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Good. What do we have to talk about? We have DLG coming up days.
Well, we have DLG Con, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be September 30th to October 3rd. We've got 2 beds left. So if you are interested and you want to come out to Austin, Texas, September 30th to October 3rd, that's Friday to Monday, we are going to be on a lake. That's Lake Travis in Austin, Texas. There's going to be a whole bunch of us. The whole crew is going to be there. There's a bunch of awesome people, locals. We're going to have brisket smoked. If you listen to the last episode, you can hear our personal, I don't know if I'd say our personal pitmaster, but definitely friend of the show, Duder McBadass is going to be smoking some briskets, and it's going to be an amazing time. So you can find that information out on our Discord through dlgaming.net, and on Discord there is a channel called DLG Con Planning, where there's a document that you can see how much it cost. I believe it is $350 for a bed each, and there are 2 left. So you can always DM me on Discord. That's Days. And so if you have any questions or if you want to reserve a room, feel free to reach out.
It's booze, games, fun, laughs, good time.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Good times, lots of memories.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. Pretty exciting here. You can't really tell if you're listening or even if you're watching on the stream, but we just remodeled our studio here. We cleaned a lot of things up. And I don't know. We'll see if it has an effect on us during the podcast.
Well,
Maybe
I like being in this room a little more.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, even if it's 1%,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's made quite a difference.
And then Bobby's chilling. Look at how much leg room he has. Look at him.
I'm doing
Well,
all
he
right,
has
but I've
to.
got a
He's got his
weird
own couch
angle
to
on you
himself.
guys. I don't
Yeah?
know about this angle.
Yeah.
Bobby's got the gam cam going on.
That's only
He's got
for
the gooch
Christian.
cam.
Yeah. That's Discord only. Got to pay extra for that.
That's right.
Behind the
Gonna
scenes
put him on
footage.
OnlyFans.
Oh, yikes. All right. Well, let's get into some games here. Let's talk about some games that have come to our attention on the radar. So I have got 2 card battler games here. I'm going with a theme. I'll start off with the first one, Floppy Nights. So they call it Floppy Nights because I guess these characters come from floppy disks. I don't know. But it is a card battler RPG game that's got these really cutesy kind of graphics. Honestly, like this one, I was like, I don't know about. They didn't really sell me, but it's an indie developer, and you always want to give them a chance. So maybe I'll check it out. Looks like it could be good.
It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, its art style's cute.
Yeah, and I always like a reference to a floppy disk. In Battlefield 3 and 4, I think. Nick, you probably remember this, but you could make your sprays. And you can only make them with things that you had unlocked. So you'd unlock like a square and then a circle, and then you could put them together and make like these designs. Do you remember that at all, Nick?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And
Just-
it's not Battlefield. It's actually Call of Duty. You made your own like profile images.
No,
and
you definitely did it
unlock-
in Battlefield as well, but I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
sure
yeah,
which
wait.
one. Yeah, but
On
Call of Duty
PC,
did a
right?
similar thing. Yes, you're right. Call of Duty did. I just didn't play as many of those.
Which Call of Duty did that?
Black Ops 1, 2, and then all the other ones after that.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Yeah,
a
but-
weird way of doing it because you don't just get your own spray or you load up your V2 image or the VT2 or whatever those images were like with Steam games, but you actually had to create that and you only could use what they gave you and you had to be really creative. And mine wasn't exceptionally creative, but it was just a floppy disk. So I liked that. It would show up on the side of your tank and like any vehicle you were driving.
Oh yeah.
When you would kill people. And yeah, mine was just this little floppy disk with the little lines and the bars. You know what a floppy disk is, right? I'm talking to old people. No?
Yes,
Nobody?
I know what a floppy disk
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Okay.
of course.
It's the symbol that you see in the top right when you save stuff.
You remember
Yeah,
when
still
like
to
It
this
lives
day.
on.
Yeah.
It lives on as the save symbol.
I was gonna
Yes.
say, I just always remember some games being like 4 or 5 floppy disks to continue the game. It's like you pop it out, press the
Or
button,
installing.
and then
Those were the
install.
5
Oh,
in the quarters,
yeah.
like playing Oregon Trail. If you scroll down a little bit, Christian, or yeah, there's some up there. Yeah, those are the 5 in the quarters right there. That's the word muncher Oregon Trail right there.
My-
Yeah, you'd have to swap them
I was
out.
like, That's some good times right
You know
there.
how much room a floppy disk holds? By the
Like, what,
by,
18 megabits? Megabytes?
Like a 5.3 or whatever. What's the standard? 3.5. What'd you say?
well,
the standard
that's the
size?
size of it, 3.5.
There's different sizes though.
Well, the
right?
5 1/4 is the big
Yeah.
one that is actually floppy, but the floppy disks were 3.5.
And they held what?
It is not 720. Oh, dude, nobody knows how much a floppy disk holds.
No.
15.
Oh, dude, 1.44 megabytes.
Damn.
If I remember correctly. Pretty sure I'm right on that. But yeah,
I want Bobby on my trivia team.
my useless
Yeah,
trivia.
Doesn't
That's-
know anything
yeah, that's the
else,
point of
just
trivia.
computer
Yeah.
trivia.
Oh, 1.44.
Oh,
Wow. Swish. All right.
Rip.
Swish.
Sometimes when you get something right, you really lose. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those right there. Very quick on a spray tangent. I love this video that somebody put it together. This is like when sprays came out for TF2. You could put your custom sprays. This very clever spy would go into the enemy team, spray like a naked anime girl, very sexy. People would stop and see it, but he would be invisible, crouched right by it, and he would just backstab people all day. And he put the video in fast forward, so you could just see how many people would they wouldn't be able to, they couldn't help themselves. They had to look at the booty or whatever it was and just get backstabbed for their troubles.
You
Yeah, I
cannot
think
resist
TF2
the anime boobs.
I think TF2 banned like most of their regular servers will ban sprays now. You can't spray. They were really abusing it. I mean, not
Yeah.
just with stuff like that,
They're
but
making doors.
they would make doors and they would make sprays of like characters.
Characters.
So from
Yeah.
a distance, it would
People
look
would-
like there's a soldier and you'd be shooting at it. And even if you're shooting at it for just like a second or two, that's enough for somebody to get
Yeah.
the jump on you in that game.
Yeah,
Literally
people were
fucking
doing
Wile E. Coyote fucking train
Yeah.
tunnels. You'd be like running into. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I just remember with the spray, like the latest Modern Warfare that was out for Call of Duty. Like one of the things some people would do is they would creep on somebody, and like maybe somebody went AFK, and somebody would spray them like a neon color. So anywhere
The
they
person.
ran, the person,
Oh.
the whole person was sprayed like neon yellow. So it's just like you saw them running everywhere. So troll. I love spraying in.
Bobby, you
games.
want to finish up your
Yeah, we went off on a bit of a tangent there. So Floppy Nights, it is being released May 24th. And do we have a price on that yet? I don't know if we do. Yeah, no price just yet. But I keep my eye on it. Like I said, I like to give those indie developers a chance.
I was saying while you were doing a theme, you want to finish out your theme, Chroma Chronicles?
I guess I could. Okay, Chroma Chronicles is another card battler game, and this one is a versus one, so it's like best of 5, 1v1, and you build your decks. I don't know how you accumulate the cards here. I don't know if it's like you unlock them or what. But this is made or designed by a streamer that I'm not familiar with, but apparently is pretty popular. His name is BoxBox. He
Oh, yeah.
streams a lot of League of Legends, I believe. He's pretty popular. I looked at his Twitter. He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers. So.
Good for him to like use that to like, propel something that he's doing.
Make
Hopefully
new
it's a
stuff.
good game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting approach. I'm trying to think of other. I know there's been some, but I'm trying to recall other instances where a streamer or a personality has created a game.
Wasn't PUBG that? Like, wasn't the creator of PUBG,
Dean
wasn't he like
Hall?
a streamer and professional video game player?
I thought he was a designer, but I don't know.
When did witches get hot?
They've always been hot. What are you
No.
talking about, dude?
Dude, why do you think we
You know,
killed
hook
them in
the
like
nose.
Salem and shit? They were just all super
Oh,
sexy.
well. All right. That's true. I guess the modern witch has
Right.
always been hot. The Instagram witch,
They're hot.
Oh, fuck out of here. I've been watching Fargo, the TV series, so my Midwest accent probably is going to be a little bit more pronounced.
Don't you
today.
know that witches are hot now?
That is not what they sound like.
Nick, I'm cool with you doing the same content over and over, but like, it's been 17 weeks of Darktide now.
And I was actually supposed to put that in my the things that I like, whatever. Not on the
The
radio.
highlights, you weirdo.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Is it your first day? Dude, it doesn't have to be your first day every day, bro. Like, you can move on.
Well, hold on. I
I
have a
gotta hamstring
question.
myself. I'd steal
Is-
the show if I don't.
Are you about to? I mean, are you going to be playing more of this?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but
Then
The
it kind
thing I
of
want to
is
bring
also
up
in
is
his
like
romance
all
book.
the things that they're changing from the game, but I'll talk about that later. It's something I do want to talk about right now is about Arma Reforger. Have you guys heard anything about this?
Nope.
Nope.
So Arma, or the people that make Arma, I think it's Bohemian Studios.
Yeah.
They came out with a game out of nowhere. Like they were like, "Hey, we're announcing something on Tuesday," and then Tuesday came and they're like, "Hey, we're working on this game. Actually, psych, it's out." It's
Wow.
essentially an engine test, but yeah, it's really interesting as far as like what the concept is, what the concept of the battle is. So it's Soviet Union forces versus American forces in like an alternate reality where they actually like engage in direct combat. But
Mm.
it's a mill sim using the Arma engine or the Unreal engine, and so I think it's like one of the first times that the Bohemian Studios is using another engine besides the proprietary one they've been using. And it looks like, to be honest, it looks like a direct squad like competitor. This is the kind of stuff that like I live to play. So I haven't played it yet, only because I've been, I guess, slacking. But yeah, there's vehicle combat. Right now, it's currently locked to 32 versus 32. But they're going to be upping it, I believe, to 100 versus 100. But as Sniper told me, apparently one of the restrictions is the fact that they're trying to get a lot of console players and cross-play with consoles. So that does limit, the things that can be done.
What's up with those mixed reviews there on the Steam page?
Yeah. What are the people
a lot
saying?
of- A lot of people, from the reviews I read, it's not the game itself. Like it's like, oh, it's boring or whatever. It's like just like launch issues,
Technical
and, like,
issues. Yeah.
technical issues, and that's the whole point of this. And
Yeah.
people
Right.
are like,
Right. It's
and then people also bought it. They're like, it's not Arma 4, and like that's like one of the first like game descriptions that it's not Arma 4. It's its own thing. It's to test the engine and everything.
yeah. That's
to
what I was
make
gonna
sure
say.
that-
It's a technical stress test.
exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it is, I believe, only $30.
That
You
seems
shouldn't
a
have.
little
You
high
shouldn't have
for
to
a-
pay for a technical stress test.
That's what I'm saying. That seems a little
But
high
Arma-
for just.
I always felt like the Armor games were overpriced personally, but I don't know.
Yeah.
From what I understand, what some streamers have been saying and YouTubers is that there will be things that you do in this game that will affect or do something in the next game. So we'll see if that's true. But yeah, it looks fun. How many concurrent players are on it right now?
Let's take a look.
So, yeah,
2,300.
2,300 players for a stress test is not bad.
Yeah. Today's peak was 4,000. So yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
But just out of nowhere on Twitter, they were like, "Hey, we're working on this. Actually, it's out. Go play it."
Guys, these next few years are going to be very exciting. This new Unreal Engine, Unreal 5, is not just graphically. That's cool. Next big graphics are awesome, but the ease in which people are being able to program stuff now. I mean, the tools that are available to them is like unprecedented.
unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's unreal.
It's scary how fast you can develop. Like,
He didn't know he
game
did that.
stuff just using in-engine assets already.
Yeah. So I think indie games are really going to skyrocket in graphic quality, depending on how the Unreal how they have to pay them. But yeah, I think the next few years are going to be super exciting.
Tales of Nadia 2 is
there
going
a
to be
subscription
so
thing
great.
now?
Oh my god.
Isn't the Unreal Engine like something that you have to pay like you have to pay like a subscription for how like essentially how long your game is like live or some shit like that?
The way,
Like
Yeah, they
I heard
did
they
that a
changed,
couple
like, their
years ago. They
payment
changed the
structure.
model.
yeah, they'll give it to you for free, and you can develop it on there. And then if you go live, I think you pay them royalties indefinitely,
Yeah.
which is not
To
a
be-
bad business
Kind
model.
of makes sense, yeah.
To
Yeah.
be clear, though, this game is not in Unreal. Just throwing it out there.
oh okay, what's it? Is it still using the old Arma engine or
Nick,
the new Arma engine, I guess?
please get your shit together.
It's Oh, tiny behind the scenes. Yeah, they invented another engine because the other thing that they do is they make training simulators for real militaries around the world. So they have this infusion engine, and that is what Reforger is made on, and what their other software is made on too.
Chris,
Nice.
I am going to Venmo you $17 for every time you fact check and and prove him wrong this episode.
That's a couple-
$17.
that's a
Is it 'cause it equals
fucking-
20 decals?
He's
Yeah,
gonna
that's a
get
couple
paid more
decals,
than I
dude.
am to
Nice.
be on this podcast.
Amanda,
Speaking
what's-
of getting shit together, what's more important of getting your things together, like the threads of life, than doing it eternally, right? So the game I put on the radar, Eternal Threads, which that sounds so epic. The way I just led into the game that is not as epic, I guess. Well, kind of. I don't know. Like this game. So this game is like a single player kind of storyline game of like an investigative figuring out what things are happening. Like it's an investigative murder type of game where you are going through and figuring out how like these people died and what is going on. I kind of really like these games, and I feel like I'm in the next month I'm going to be coming into being more into going back into the investigative games. This kind of just it reminded me of Detroit Become Human in a way, especially with the like watching scenes play out and seeing kind of what's going on with them and watching the story unfold in front of you while you're making decisions and figuring out, you know, what happened and what's going on in these cases.
Bobby, I'm getting Obra Dinn vibes here. You? Or you're the one who played it. Or am I way off?
I don't know.
I don't think it's Oberdin.
Oh, did you play Obra Dinn?
A little bit, yeah. I love this
Oh, okay.
the art style of
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know, but I'm not necessarily getting so much
Oh,
of
okay.
this. Well, in the same sense that you're actually just trying to figure out like what's going on. Like
Yeah.
I see that, yeah, with Oberdin, but this just kind of seems like you know, you're essentially like manipulating time as well. If anything, this is going to be similar, I think, to The Wanderer in a way. Where you are, of course, choice and consequences in this game and choosing things that are going on, but you're kind of figuring out this puzzle and these murders and what is happening, manipulating time and watching a story unfold, which I think will just be cool. So that's why it's on my radar. It was just released May 19th, and it is on sale right now. I think I just saw 20% off for $26.99.
That's not
$27
bad.
bucks. Yeah, they're having this promotion and on the 26th of May. So
There's only 27
For 4
reviews,
days.
but it is 96%. That means one person said no, which means it's just an asshole. He doesn't like anything. You know what I mean?
Doesn't like-
The other day, somebody told me they didn't like pizza. I was like, we need to
Are
stop
you an
talking.
alien?
We need to stop talking now, and I will see you never. That's how that went.
oof.
That's kind of weird. I mean, usually people will say I don't like this kind of pizza
Yeah.
or this topping,
all
but
pizza.
to not like pizza,
Yeah.
it's
I feel
pretty
like-
It's almost a
bold.
power play.
I feel like
Yeah.
It's like a canvas.
I feel like I don't like pizza the same way somebody doesn't like a cat when they're super allergic to it. Pizza definitely does not like me.
Oh,
That's
right,
what it
right.
is.
Yeah.
I used to
Oh,
love
okay.
pizza, especially Detroit style pizza, which is like a square dish
The
pizza,
burnt
and it's
edges.
so much bread and like equal amounts of cheese and sauce. It's phenomenal. If you ever get the chance for a Detroit pizza, it's awesome.
Making
But
me hungry.
I used to eat that shit all the time, and now I can't. And then I travel everywhere, and everybody wants to recommend me pizza and Italian food, and I'm like, I can't eat either of those things, but thank you.
Stop it.
I appreciate it, but it's just like, no. And then, yeah. Anyway, that has nothing to do with any of the video games that we've actually been playing this week. So we're moving on to highlights.
So I have a ton of highlights, so I'll
Yeah, you
start
should get
off here.
started.
Tetris Effect, I've always wanted to play. It's now called Tetris Effect Connected because initially it didn't have multiplayer, but now it has multiplayer on local, it has split screen, it has online, it has all the multiplayers. But yeah, originally for some reason it just didn't have any of it. Guys, Tetris has never been better. This is a psychedelic trip, is what you're doing. The movements, the sound, the visuals all come together to be some sort of like experience more than it is a game. You're playing Tetris, which is a simple game by today's standards. But nobody's ever been like, Tetris sucks. Like, there's some. some.
What about that guy who doesn't like pizza?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He.
Well,
he
what's
is
his
for
stance
sure.
on Tetris?
Yeah. He hates it.
Probably hates
Call him.
But you know, it's almost like a video that plays in the back, but the video is responding to what you're doing in the Tetris game, and there's jellyfish that are pulsating with blue lights, and when it gets more intense, the music gets it more intense, and they're hitting you with like opera singing, and then the next one has rap in it. Next one after that is like people chanting around the bonfire, and they're like the fire's getting bigger as your stack's getting bigger. It's fucking awesome.
It's amazing. That's a whole experience.
Fucking awesome. Like the
Did you play
Tetris
it in
almost
VR?
takes.
I just
I
saw
looked
it's
that
VR
up.
supported.
I looked it up today, and I couldn't find whether or not it said. Does it say?
No,
It's-
it has VR on
Oh.
PlayStation. You can play it in VR.
Yeah. So yeah, it's totally bought.
Wow.
But anyway, it's free right now on Game Pass, which I don't think you can play Game Pass. Can we look that up, Christian? Can you play Game Pass games in VR if they
I
support
don't
it?
think so.
I don't think so.
No.
But anyway, it's wonderful. Sam hates everything. She's a kind of person that hates pizza. She likes pizza, but I'm saying she's that person that we're talking about. She doesn't like happiness, and she's like, "This is fucking amazing." She loved it. It's incredible, guys. Like, the game takes a back seat as you go into this experience. It says like, do you want a challenge? Do you want to just chill? There's like chill levels. There's relaxing levels. There's experimental levels. There's all these like different categories you can go into, or there's just the campaign, and you could just go through them all or whatever. But whatever you're in the mood for, that's what you're playing this game for. Like, why do people play Tetris? You're not going to be the best in the world. You're just kind of playing it to play it, right? So why not also have an incredible experience with it? And it says headphones strongly recommended. Lights off strongly recommended. Like, they want you zoned in, and it's dope.
Well, Christian just pulled up he just fact checked us. Which thank you again, Christian. We'll have to send him another like $17 because turns out you actually can play VR games
Nice.
on Game Pass, and including this game
What?
and No Man's Sky. So I feel like I need to do some due diligence and
You need to
play
take
a
some
little bit of
shrooms and play
this.
this
Yeah,
game, dude.
you just came up on like 40 VR games you probably didn't even know you had.
Yeah,
Right, 'cause of Game
possibly.
Pass,
Yeah,
right?
they're gonna have to take a damn fucking back seat, and I'm gonna get into that later. But
Yeah, it's incredible, guys. Tetris has never been better for sure. It's almost like being on mushrooms.
nice.
I was about to say you should take mushrooms and play this game.
Might be too much, bro.
Yeah.
Leslie loved this game when it first came out. She played it on PlayStation because it's one of the only like PlayStation 5 titles that was available, and she loves Tetris. And I would just sit there and watch, and I'm like, "This is awesome."
Oh, what's interesting about that too is like when you're playing the game, you can't look at the visuals very much because you focus on the game. And the watcher, which was me, I was like, "This is fucking crazy." And she's like, when you're playing it, you get what's going on, but you don't get to see the visuals. But yeah, the watcher gets to watch all that, and you could zoom in and zoom out and make the game board as small or as big as you want. You can make it really big and drown out everything else if that's what you want it to do.
I remember when this came out, the direct competitor was that Tetris where you faced 100 people, kind of like in a battle royale. And this
Yeah, I
kinda
kind of
got
remember that.
overshadowed by that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so now that this is available and you can play multiplayer, I don't see why anyone who loves Tetris wouldn't be playing it.
Just because you said it and it's on my mind, what is the little game where you do a obstacle course against 100 people?
Fall Out
Fall
Guys?
Guys?
Fall Guys?
Yeah,
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys is now has Epic exclusivity, or will have Epic exclusivity. If you own it already, you'll be able to cross-platform with them. But if once it goes exclusive on Epic for free to play, you will no longer be able to play with those people. Yeah,
What
I
are
think
the
that's how
active
that works.
player numbers for this? Because I've heard that this game is dying. Like, you constantly run into bots. You constantly run into a bunch of shit.
10,000 people were playing today.
Yeah, which I mean, I expect that to be bigger, but I think once it goes to free to play, that'll jump up quite a bit,
Hmm.
especially on Epic, where a lot of kids play.
Yeah, well, the game's been out for a long time too. Well, 2 years.
Yeah, it's time for it to go to free to play anyway. But it sucks about the exclusivity part. But I think we all own
It's the
this.
same thing that happened to Rocket League, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They went free to play when they jumped to Epic.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that ended up helping it out, so maybe this will too.
yeah.
I mean, I guess bumbling around and running and throwing shit at the wall and hoping that you make it to the end. Do you want to talk about some of that? What is it? The UEBs?
Oh yeah. So Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. I talked about it a little bit when I saw Gummy play it, but of course I bought it because yes. This is the first early access version. So I wouldn't say it's like tremendously buggy or anything. The takeaway here is what they've done technically. I put it on ultra settings and I'm not getting any noticeable slowdown at all. I'm talking about 1 million chickens versus 1 million Spartans versus 17 Nikola Teslas. Yeah, somehow it pulls it all off and it loads pretty well. Like I might have to wait 30 seconds for it to load. Like it's not bad at all. And you watch these forces go up against each other. If anything was wonky, I would say like their tactics are to be desired because they will be like 50 deep waiting in line to be dead instead of like they do curve around the edges but not enough that they won't try to engulf the enemy as strongly as they should. A lot of guys are just standing around. But you could just push the button R and go right into RTS mode and you can like control, highlight a whole group of people, tell these guys to go over here and attack these people. You can also possess a guy and just go in and start fighting as one of the dudes. That's more fun than it sounds. There is John Wick, which they call Action Guy. And there is also Chuck Norris, who's a god, basically. He can take 1 million zombies on and win.
Wow.
And you can turn on like forever bones and blood, and he'll be at a giant mountain of dead bodies at the end of it, which is cool, but it takes forever, like 3 hours for him to kill 1 million zombies. But super fun. I like it, and I can't wait. The roadmap came out. They're doing the standard thing like next couple of weeks. They're gonna have new units, new maps. A couple of weeks after that, they're gonna do the campaign mode. A few weeks after that, full release, which includes mod support, which is what we really want because we want Jedis. And yeah, it's good. It's very good. Technically, they pulled it off. It's crazy. 1 million of something. You know how long it takes you just to fly over 1 million battle ducks? Like,
What's a battle duck?
it's a duck with a little helmet on it, dude. What do you mean?
Quack, quack, he battle ready.
Yeah. You can already, you can modify their numbers so you can make up a new unit. So you can make like a Spartan. You could take him, which is like 200 health, 75 damage, and you could just fuck with the numbers and the colors as much as you want, and you can make a unit, but you're still hard locked into that model.
Okay.
Once the modding support comes out and we have Harry Potter flying around, that's going to be the fun part.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All
Would it-
right.
Well, not flying, but I guess not swimming or gliding, more like on the water. Nick, you want to tell us about War Thunder, dude? Isn't this the battleships game?
Dude, so it is not battleships, or not just battleships. It originally started as an air game, but now they have like helicopters, tanks, blue water and green water vessels, and a bunch of other shit. And man, I've been playing this game a lot, even though it's obviously like one of those games where you just have to crank time in to unlock stuff. And I just realized that just playing with the lowest level shit is actually pretty entertaining. They keep adding stuff to this game. I think one thing that they have in this game that is kind of touchy that some other tank simulators and stuff don't have is that they put in experimental or like prototype vehicles from like other cultures, and I think there's like now 9 playable uh, factions. So it's like Israel, Italy, America, China, Japan, Great Britain, Russia, Sweden, and I think like I'm missing one. But dude, there's so many things in this game now, and if you do end up playing it, I would strongly suggest buying what is called like the Battlefield Starter Pack, which is like so if you choose a country like I'm American, I want to play America, whatever. You can just go to their page, and because the game's free, if you like the game, you can buy one of these passes for $10, or like 14 decals. I don't know what the difference is, but you get a higher tier tank and a higher tier plane included, and 7 days of like premium, which is like a big deal because you unlock stuff like 3 times as fast while you have like your premium unlocked.
Like an XP boost.
Exactly. So yeah, like I've had my opinions about this game because they constantly change like what it takes to like level up and unlock stuff, like how long it takes and all these other things. So right now I think the game is in a pretty good state, especially if you're a new player because there's so many new armies that you can play. And also there's just so many vehicles, and whether you like ships, small patrol craft, helicopters, planes, tanks, like whatever, like it's all in this game.
Hey Nico, when you're playing like tanks, is it only tanks, or can you play tanks versus boats versus planes?
So there is like a war mode, because there's like a realism mode, there's like an arcade mode which most people play, but in like the war mode, like everything is like allowed. But the thing is like only things from a certain era are allowed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're not gonna have jets versus like World War One tanks.
Yeah.
So, but when you do play tank battles, you can always fly a plane if you get a kill or two, and so that's like a consistent thing because what they've included in like the quote unquote tanks category is anti-air guns, which are pretty weird because people use them as like stealth vehicles to kind of just absolutely fuck people up. But yeah, the game, like I said, is like just in a really good place as far as like balance and a couple of other things.
Yeah, because last time you were talking about this game, you were kind of poo-pooing it. So now it looks like they turned it around.
Yeah, like I said, because I was poo-pooing it because it seemed like they changed a bunch of like the tier systems and how fast you unlock stuff. Like, oh, you need to unlock 5 tanks before you can go to the next tier. They've lowered that and modified it for some of the other countries. And so, like I said, like, I think the game is in a pretty good spot right now. It is free. There's so many people that, and it's on every major console. There are so many people that fucking play this game, man.
What's the concurrent players on this one? We always wait. Everybody's quiet.
27,000.
Jeez. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of people.
Yeah, and so if the nice thing about this game, and this is one of the main reasons why like I play it, is that getting into a game, finishing the game, and then getting into another game is super fast because you can have 10 tanks or like 10 crews with 10 different tanks, but you only get 3 lives. And so like you kill a bunch of people, you get killed, you just start the next round. Like
Wait.
you just go.
It takes multiple people to run one tank?
No.
Oh.
So like you have a quote unquote crew for every vehicle you can have, and you can have up to 10 crews.
Oh, gotcha.
And so there are people that play this for like the flight simulator mode and in VR, and it's called like movie maker settings or like some crazy shit where like all the textures get like up-res and like all these other things, and you can fly a plane, and like you obviously have restrictions like on how many G's you can pull, else your like biplane shreds into like 1,000 fucking pieces. So yeah.
Speaking of flight simulators, dude, my brother-in-law who's a pilot, I let him play
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, Flight Simulator, which he always talks about building a computer to play. But he sat down and he's like, "Yep, everything is exactly like flying." He's like, it's exactly. He's like, because he hasn't flown in like 3 years. He's like, I feel like I could go jump into a Cessna and be fine right now because this is exactly it. Everything feels exactly like, and he's on a PlayStation controller, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, everything is picture perfect, accurate as far as like where the controls are. He's like, I've done 5,000 hours in this plane right here. He's like, he's showing me what all the knobs and shit do. It's super interesting. I've also played. I played Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's so hard to keep these games in order. Like it was Tomb Raider, and then it was like Rise of the Tomb Raider, and now it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. How am I supposed to know what order those are? I have to look up the order every single time. Anyway, this is the third one in the reboot series, where in the first one she was like a teenager. She was like 18 maybe, but now she's like a woman, and she's out and doing her shit. And goddamn, was I having a good time. The camera work in this game is incredible. It's I don't know if like how the editor works or whatever they put into it, but it's not your average, just behind her views as you're going through whatever it is, especially through the cinematic areas. It's picking camera angles that are not what you would expect, but also just add to the whole experience. The game has been fun. It seems to be a lot more platforming and exploratory than just action shooting bad guys. I loved Tomb Raider 1, way back whenever the hell. And I'm talking about the original series. And then the 2 came out, and that I think I really enjoyed that one too. And then 3 came out, and it was just like all just shoot 'em up bad guys. And I'm like, every other video game has this. Like I can get this anywhere else. It's fighting crocodiles underwater. That's really exciting about these games. And I'm getting a lot of that in this. And it seems like getting back to the jungle. You know what I mean? Like really fucking cool. Having a great time. Bobby, the initial scene is in Mexico, and she goes into a small town. Guess what's going on in that small town?
Is it Dia de los
It
Muertos?
is Dia de los
Yeah.
Muertos,
About
man.
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
That's all
Every
Mexican people
fucking
do, in
trophy.
case
Yeah.
you don't know.
It's-
They just celebrate Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah. They did an exceptional job at it, but yeah, that it just happened to be that again. I'm itching to play more of this. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Do you think the next one will be the rated tomb of the Tomb Raider?
The rated tomb underneath the overfall of the Tomb Raider. Just like random words.
Just random adjectives and verbs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Underneath the falling sky of the bottom of the Tomb Raider. All
What
right.
did you play this week, Bobby?
This week I played My Time at Portia. That was the only game I played this week. But I played a good
Sounds
amount
like
of
a
it.
stripper. I'm sorry.
What, Portia?
Yeah, I know it's a car company, but it's like My Time with Porsche. It's like, yes, I hired this stripper to hang out with me for the weekend.
Well, yeah, that's the my time with Portia. This is my time at Portia.
My Time
Very important.
inside of Portia.
How was it? How would you rate it? Would you come again?
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yikes.
So this game is pretty much Stardew Valley. Like it is so close. So it is a 3D adventure version of Stardew Valley. You're doing all the same things. You are making relationships with people in town. You're farming, scavenging materials. There's these dungeons or areas you can go in and dig to find things, and then there's combat in there. Yeah, it's pretty much Stardew Valley, but in a 3D space. The game actually did not handle as well as I thought. You watch a lot of the videos and the graphics seem all right, but then you get in there, it seems a little on the janky side. But still, I'm having a good time with it. I really don't know. I don't know if I'm going to like keep playing this game because I played so much Stardew Valley that it does feel a little bit repetitive. So I'm kind of... That's what I said about Stardew Valley, though. The first time I played it, it didn't catch. And I think I went back maybe 2 or 3 times before I really got into it. So that's just how these games are. So who knows? There may be a future with this one, but just in general, I was not super impressed. It felt like it took a really long time to get to the farming part. So I don't know. Crafting survival, I've found where I'm at right now with gaming. I have no tolerance for it. If you tell me to go get 10 pieces of wood to put something together so I can use that to put something else together, then I'm just like, nope, I'm out. Like I'm not playing your game, man. I'm not running arbitrary tasks to achieve these goals that you've set for me. No. But yeah, it was all right. I wanted to check it out because the new one's coming out, My Time at Sandrock, and that one's going to be multiplayer. And this game does not have multiplayer. And of course, that was a big deal for Stardew Valley. Like once that had the co-op mode, it was great. But yeah, it's all right. It was free on Epic Games like, I don't know, a year ago or something. So hopefully you got it back then. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a little bit of money on Steam, and it's probably not worth it. Wait, My Time at Sandrock already came out.
No,
May
it comes out on-
26th. May 26th. Okay. It's coming out
soon.
very, very soon.
In 4 days.
Yep.
How much is My Time at Portia? It's got some very positive reviews. There's a demo as well out on Steam to check it out. Otherwise, it's $30.
Yeah, it's $30. You know, one of the big differences between this game and Stardew Valley was this game actually has voice acting, and I don't really like it though. Like I don't. There's an option to not really turn it off, but you can select mute for your character, like he just doesn't talk, or you choose a different voice for your character. And I think I like playing it better that way. I don't know. The voice acting just playing Stardew Valley and the character's not talking and you having to read all the dialogue. Typically, I don't care for that too much, but in that game, I kind of like it because, like when you read a book, you put things together in your own mind. People have the voices that you create for them. You know, if you read a book, you kind of paint your own pictures and you see things how you want to. That's kind of how it is when you play a game that doesn't have voice acting. You kind of create the voices for your characters. That just worked better for me with Stardew Valley.
That's what I appreciate more too. Plus, I find that a lot of times the voice actors might be reading things at a much slower rate than you normally would. So I'm always just kind of like, oh my God, come the fuck on. Like, I see you're doing a dramatic pause. Stop it. Let's just move on to the next conversation.
Bobby, I wish you would create voices for your own characters in D&D. Son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, that's great.
My name is Dwarf Paladin, and he just so happens to have the exact same voice and cadence that I do.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing in the rule book that says a dwarf paladin can't talk like this.
That's very true.
Speaking of dwarf paladins, what about Ravenous Devils, Days?
That has nothing to do with dwarf paladins. I appreciate you trying to transition, but I was
Nah, man, I hate dwarves. I don't.
I was gonna
fuck with that
say
in my
it seemed
D&D
like
campaign.
Seemed like My Time in Portia takes up a lot of time, and a game that's all about time is Ravenous Devils. That's how I hear it in my fucking head when I hear Ravenous Devils. It's some like, Sweeney Todd weird girl being like, that's just ravenous. But anyway, because apparently the villagers in this place are fucking starving and ravenous because they are always there looking for that meat pie, that goop shit, you know, which comes from the upstairs.
Are you high, Days?
Did you talk to the youth before you came here?
The youth, yeah. No, all right. So anyway, this game, so this game is about you are a husband-wife duo set in what reminds me of like, Sweeney Todd, total kind of vibe, right? The guy, instead of being a barber like Sweeney Todd, he's a tailor. So he will sit there and, you know, make measurements of people, and then he stabs them is what he does. And then he's got a little chute that he throws the body down, and his wife will take the body and put it in a massive meat grinder where she'll make like minced meat pie and then sell that back to people. And it's just an entire game of, it's only like $5. And I think for a $5 game, that goop shit is totally worth it for $5. If you like time management games, because this is totally that kind of game. Like I realized that I can sit there and I can make an outfit, put it on a mannequin, and that will distract the first person coming into the tailor shop, which then the second person coming in is the one I'm going to kill. And by that time, when I drop swap his body, take his clothes, like refix up his clothes, put him back onto the mannequin. That buys me enough time to do all the stuff with the woman down at the basement and making the pie. It is a lot of like busy work and time management stuff, but it kind of flows fun. It's not. I like kind of the way that they do the story in the intro, and I just think that for a $5 game, this is really well made for those kind of, like I said, time management games.
It's grisly.
It is grisly. It's dark. It's like, yeah, definitely savage with a lot of gore and blood, but it's also kind of fun. You can upgrade your space, you can improve your shop, you can improve things to help you out. You can do like double ovens and make even more food.
Double
oven it up for your devilish ways, because they're ravenous up there, don't you know?
Days, I got a question. Does your establishment grow in size?
Not exactly. You do unlock like a garden, which then you can start adding and like making different stuff to kind of spice up things, because
Not to grow potatoes so that you have to kill less people. No.
no, it's herbs, so that way then you can
you can
flavor
spice
your
up the
human
pie,
meat
yeah.
and spice it up, and then you could maybe make a shepherd's pie with the shepherd literally in the pie.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
You said it.
and then yeah, dude. But I mean, it's interesting because people will like rate you, and sometimes the town will be onto you. Like, so if you kill too many people, like the town's people will be onto you.
Is
But you can
mincemeat
kinda-
pie just a little too on the nose? You
I
just
think
don't-
it really is mincemeat pie. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
You
it's
don't
a little
serve
on
that.
The nose.
Yeah.
Well, it was when they were first starting out. You can start making more different foods and stuff. They have different recipes. She's like, "Oh, my grandmother's book." If you look at that fourth picture to the right, that's the recipe book.
Did you read the top?
And yeah, that goop shit. Yeah, so that's apparently her grandmother's recipe, which I mean, damn, dude, amazing. She didn't use any words and was able to just impeccably make this like pixelated art. It's fantastic. Grandma is an artist. Look at that. But no, it's the recipe book so you can make different things and kind of spice it up. But
She was illiterate, but a hell of an artist.
yeah, illiterate but a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say in the bottom right of this recipe book, the secret ingredient is crime. Come
Yeah.
on, Grandma. That's
A little on the nose there. A little incriminating.
It's a little on the nose, but it's pretty fun. I think for like a
$5
$5 game, it's pretty cute and well made and like fun. But you do get to the point though, and there's a demo. If you're really unsure about it, try the demo. The demo's pretty elaborate. You definitely get the gist with the demo, like of what this game is about. So at least just play that. But I don't know. Sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with these kind of time management games because they easily kind of spin out of control. For a while, you'll be going on like a really good groove. You'll be like, okay, cool. If I keep this down, this is my rotation.
Your murder
The strategy
to
of it,
sandwiches ratio is
Yeah.
really good.
You're like,
We're
awesome.
gonna
If
make
I
10 more
just
body salamis.
exactly, it's just like, okay, cool. If I keep doing this route, then for quite a while, like I've got a system that works, and then they start adding more people, and you're like, oh fuck, I can't handle it.
Well, I mean,
Like-
that's the nature of these games, right?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
how they make them. But it is pretty fun, and you know, your customers do rate you, so you can see how well you're doing. And I don't know. I think it for like I said, like a $5 game. I thought it was pretty fun and cute and interesting.
Dude,
Like I
yeah.
said, the camera angle reminds me of Fallout Shelter. I think
Yes.
you brought this up a couple weeks ago.
And it's nice
It
because
looks fun as shit.
yeah, it's nice because you use the mouse scroll wheel to go up and down levels, which can make you go really rapid and fast and like doing all the things that you're doing. And you can kind of click and basically line up a queue of what you want the husband or what you want the wife to do, and then scroll down and like kind of jump back and forth between them pretty easily. But yeah, I thought it was a fun and good game. Came out not too long ago, yeah, the 29th of April. I did put it on the radar, but I played quite a bit more of it before my entire weekend got rocked by my next game that I'm not going to talk about just yet. I'll talk about it in a bit.
You could, but it doesn't end with blood on the floor and bloody messes and
Blood
grisly.
everywhere, yeah. It's just about as gory. I don't know. I guess the theme of
Go
this
for
week
it.
is gore. Not to be confused with Gorn, which was a great game. Also gory. Not the one I'm talking about, though. The one I'm talking about, though, is V Rising. That game, oh my god. I had all these plans for this weekend. How dare this game? I had all these plans and I was like, okay, I don't know if it's the Steam like algorithm being like, this bitch played Blood Hunt, so let's give her all the vampire shit. But all this vampire stuff to me seems to be coming out right now. So when I first saw this game, I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be into it. But then I played a little bit of it and oh my god, guys, I think I've put in 14 or 15 hours in the past 2 days. Like, I haven't really slept. This game just completely rocked. I went from like level 10 to 30, 35. And I fucking love this game. I will be playing this game and probably talking about this game for the next few weeks. Just
Strap
prepare
in.
thyselves. Yeah, strap in and prepare your bippies because we're talking about V Rising for the next few weeks.
And yeah, not just that. She also nominated it for Game of the Week, and she's a long time due for that. So
yeah,
yep.
it's gonna be this game. So let's get right into it. This game we were just talking about recently, one of the sad parts of everything kind of turning to kind of consoles or catering to consoles, meeting in the middle of PC and console, right? One of the sad things that I know Nick brought up and I agreed with is that we were lacking servers. Well, the shit's back in this game. We have servers in this game, which is great. So I'm playing with my buddy Fastidious, who has his own server, and it's doing really well. Like, it's populated well. There's a lot of really nice people. It's cool. We play PvE. This game has PvP, but I haven't played it. I cannot know life with the PvP, man. I can't do that right now. Nothing stresses me out more in these craft survival games, which if I haven't mentioned it before, this is a craft survival game.
And yes, recycled. When she says council, she means console. Yes.
Yeah, you say council.
You say council.
Oh shit, it's console. Yeah, my bad. That
console.
was a little slip. Console. Yeah.
No, it's not a little slip because it's been weeks.
I keep saying it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Fuck out of here. Whatever. Say it how I want. Anyway,
You betcha.
you betcha.
Days, I don't think you've said what this game is, or did I miss it?
I didn't say what this game is. I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this game, guys. I'm sorry. I keep watching this and I'm
Guys,
like,
you
fuck,
gotta
I'd
check
rather
this out.
play it. I'd rather be playing this game right now. But anyway, okay, so this game is kind of like an MMO in a way, and it reminds me of Diablo and Valheim connected together. There's a lot of amazing combat elements in these dungeon crawly kind of feeling places. Like if you go into mines and if you go into graveyards, it definitely feels like Diablo. There's all kinds of strategy to how you do combat. Your weapons will change skills in a way that you can do, and then additionally too, you get these different powers. If you kill these like smaller tier bosses, then you can get even more powers and unlock different things for structures and build a castle and build all kinds of stuff with a ton of customization of like paintings, and you can Martha Stewart the fuck out of your castle, and it's great. And so yeah, this is a crafting survival and just kind of like an action RPG.
Okay.
And yeah,
Multiplayer.
Multiplayer though, which is cool.
Right.
Traditionally, you have 4 people, I think, in a clan, so it's small base. So when you're doing PvP, that's actually great because then you won't get like completely steamrolled by like a clan of 40 people when you're
Right.
like, I'm only level 10, leave me alone. That shit sucks. They got rid of that shit here. So I haven't played a lot of the PvP. I'm having way too much fun with PvE. I mean, it is awesome. Like, I built this whole house. I've been meeting all these people. Last night, me and Fastidious and a few other people, I think SOCOM was involved as well with this. There was like 12 of us taking down one boss, and I mean, me and Fastidious are pretty decently mid-level, and SOCOM was still kind of like a newish level, but everybody else was just like beastly high level, and it was fucking hard. Like, I think I died twice, like, and people brought it up. It was difficult, but it was awesome, and it was such an amazing time, and it brought me back to, like, you know, what I've heard of how raids and WoW are, or whenever there were world events going on in ESO or Guild Wars. Like, it's that moment where, like, people in a global chat are like, hey, does everybody want to go attack this person? And then all these random people with you meet up, and you just sync and work really well together and take down a boss that was a nice mix of challenging and fun. And this game's got it. I mean, I think you could play completely solo. It would be difficult in ways, but you could always reach out in global chat and have people come join you if you're in a good server. And I mean, it's so much fun with other people as well to play. The graphics are gorgeous. There's all these little details that this game brought that just kind of adds an incredible element. There's a day and night cycle, and as you stand longer in the sun, you'll start taking drastic damage, like 10% off, like you will die fucking quick.
What do you
standing in
do during the
sun.
day then?
So during the day, they've designed this game to have such amazing shadows that also move depending on the time of the day. So obviously if it's high noon, you have a lot less shadows as you normally would. If it's dawn, depending, then it's, or like if it's rising in the east, then on the east side, you're going to have way more light in. So you have to
Ideally,
avoid it
you
and
would
move
be
around.
home decorating, though.
You
Ideally.
could, but actually what we have found that has been really efficient and fucking great is if you get to a place, say like a mine, and you want to farm a mine. You go to the mine at night, kill a bunch of stuff on the way, start farming stuff there. Then when you're in the mine and it's daylight, then you can be inside of a mine and not even be
Right.
touching daylight.
Yeah.
Or what ends up happening, depending on how far you are, what I found worked as well is it's actually kind of nice to go somewhere, kill a boss, and then by the time it's daylight, you snake through the shadows and farm on your way back home, which is so cool. It's such an amazing element to me, and it seems so simple. Like a day and night cycle is nothing new in a lot of games, but the way that they have it in this game really makes it an amazing addition and kind of an amazing challenge, because what ends up happening is it's never perfect. All of these NPCs are on these random patrols throughout the whole map, and they take roads, and obviously you don't want to be out in the middle of the road in the sunlight because there's the least amount of shade, but there are trees, there are rocks, there are buildings that are creating shadows in the daytime that you weave through, and so you can kill creatures from the shade, and it adds a whole new element of fighting when it's in daylight, and it adds a whole new challenge, which is just awesome. It's amazing. I think that this game is just so incredible. I've put in, like I said, almost 15 hours into it, and I feel like I just broke out of like the beginner level, and I'm now maybe just entering mid-game. It's awesome. You can have these servants where you can go find NPCs and humans, because a big element of this game as well is the vampire element, which is like blood. So each enemy that you fight has a different type. They might be a brute, they might be a warrior, they might be a rogue, and then their blood has a certain percentage of purity. And so what you do is if you get an enemy down 80% of their health, so they only have 20% of their health left or less, you can feed on them. And if you feed on them entirely, then you absorb, in a way, kind of some powers and buffs and stuff, depending on what they were. So if they were like a 99% rogue, well, now you're going to be able to move faster. You're going to have higher like dexterity for things. You're going to have higher chances of crit damage and stuff like that. And each kind is different. So like some things, like if you wanted to farm for your house and build stuff, then you would actually want to find a worker, like a miner or a logger or somebody working, or a farmer, and you're going to want to attack them and get their health down to like 20% and then feed on them, and that'll allow you to hold more items and harvest and gather things faster. So there's all these different buffs that then you can factor in too. You're like, okay, if this boss is going to be super difficult and he's going to and he needs a lot of like range damage, well then let's go find a rogue, or where we're going to get crit damage and like, essentially suck the blood of this enemy bandit or so that is like a rogue, and then we could use this crit damage buff to actually take down a boss. So there's all these different strategies to combat, which is really cool.
Wow.
And the core gameplay is like the core gameplay loop is super. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're really enjoying the combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The combat,
and then it has
so much
everything else
fun.
on top of that.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. The kind of Diablo aspect of this, like the combat is so amazing.
There's
in this,
you're painting a pretty picture here.
It's like I don't know. I love this fucking game. Like I said, if I wasn't here, I would be playing this game.
Game of the year?
And I don't know about game of the. It's certainly like grabbing me like Valheim did, but it's way better than Valheim. I think. Like I'm also having kind of minimal bugs in ways. The one thing that's kind of annoying and weird that I'm getting used to is like it is really stuck on the way that your character is facing for attacks, which doesn't always line up with your cursor. There's been moments where I've been fighting big mobs and I'm just like, bitch, why are you looking in the opposite way? Like I point to the monster and fight him, which can get annoying for ranged attacks. And I'm not sure if they're going to fix that or if that's my computer, if that's a true ever bug. I don't know too many people that are complaining about it. Maybe I'm just not figuring it out that well, because this game doesn't necessarily, I think it does a really good job of kind of showing you a little bit of how things are done, but there's a lot of things they do not explain to you at all, and you fight and you figure it out or you learn. But I mean, I've fallen so in love with this game that I'm now like eating and watching tips and how to do shit on YouTube.
So you'll let us know.
So yeah, like
all right, this is Game of the Weeks. You're going to be hearing a lot of this over the next month. So let's move on. Plus,
getting started.
I was just informed that I have a hard out in 10 minutes. So
That is V Rising. So
yeah. Nick, I want to hear your Darktide news, and I'll hit my highlights, and then I think I got to go.
Sounds good. This is gonna be quick. So the devs for Darktide had a magazine snippet. They explained a bunch of things. They have explained something that people were wondering for a long time, and that's how the characters will work. Essentially, there are no more unique characters in like in Vermintide, where you have like a mage guy or a mage lady, you have like a dwarf and all this other stuff, and they interacted with each other. The way it works now is that there's 4 primary classes. There's a psyker, there's a zealot, there is the combat veteran, and then there's an ogren. You can completely customize your character. I think only ogrens are the only ones that can't change sex. I might be wrong, but like I think in canon only like the male ogrens fight. But anyways, yeah, they announced a bunch of stuff. They teased something yesterday, and they said they were going to show a bunch of stuff in an hour, and they never did. So
Oof.
yeah, I don't know about that, but they also explained that the game will have complete customization of your guns and weapons and like stats. Every character has like a shield built into them. So like the zealot is protected by like the will of the emperor. The ogre is too dumb to realize he's taking damage. Like there's a bunch of other things. They've shown a bunch of these special enemies. So there's obviously something that pins you down, picks you up, all this other stuff. They showed one of the bosses as well. But the one thing that they did also announce is that the game has a game director, kind of like Left 4 Dead. So none of the runs will ever be truly the same. And they've also like enabled this thing where it's like if you play the same mission over and over again, like let's say you die in an alley, right? Well, when your character goes by, they're gonna be like, "Huh, Death Alley, huh?" And like they'll reference where you died and a bunch of other stuff and like how you died. So apparently there's still going to be like character cohesion and comments and stuff made by the characters, but it's not going to have the uniqueness of like individually written characters like in Vermintide. So everybody's going to kind of have their own characters. So.
What are you killing, Nick?
So you're fighting the forces of Nurgle, and this is something that they've kind of elaborated as well. So Nurgle is the chaos god of like pox and disease and stuff. So you're kind of facing just like really stinky zombies. But the other thing that they've introduced into this game is that they're talking about traitor guard, which are like guardsmen or good guys that have betrayed the empire, and they also have guns. And so, unlike in Vermintide, where there was only like 1 or 2 ranged enemies, there's a large assortment of them, and that's what the shield is for, is to like kind of give you a little bit of a grant of how much range damage you can take. But every class kind of has their specialization they've already mentioned. For example, like the zealot is very melee focused, while the ogren's obviously the tank. The veteran is a sharpshooter or boss killer. Like it excels on like headshots and like weak point shots.
Single target damage.
Yeah, and the psyker is kind of like this weird like glass cannon thing where if you attack too many times, you start to explode.
That's kind of what they did with the fire mage in the other game, right? Like
Exactly.
you could
but
heat up too
apparently
much.
Apparently, they're explaining that like because you can cast different spells and abilities, and like the fire lady where you just get hurt. Apparently, like if you miscast something or you overcast something and it doesn't work, there's going to be different effects for different abilities.
Nice.
So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up
This is
because
exciting,
it's like the most we've heard about this game.
I want to. Out of all the fucking Warhammer shit you talk about, this is the one.
Yeah, this is the one that they're that Tencent and Games Workshop and Fat Shark are putting all their marbles in. They got the best writer of all of them to write the game. So, I mean, the game's pretty in its own right. It's super gory. It's super actiony. They are doing a live service for this game. So they announced that a bunch of the initial missions will be released, but the overarching story and everything will be completed over time, and it'll be included in the primary game purchase. And apparently that's to make sure that the game has a longevity and it can be replayed. They've already alluded to other classes coming into the game. People have already speculated that we're going to get an Adeptus Mechanicus character, which is a character that's like full of machines and shit. We're going to get a Squat, which is like a dwarf. So Bobby can play the game. So yeah, we'll see.
Call back. Thanks, man. That was good. The last game I have, thanks to Scram TX who sent me this. How much does this cost? How much of a gift was this? This is $11.39 US. Dude, thank you so much. That's like a legitimate gift. If it was $1, I'd be like, hey, things happen. So anyway, he said it was his one of his game of the years last year, or runner up for game of the year. It's a platformer, Metroidvania. You kind of look like Orko from He-Man, if anybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. But it's a mechanic I've seen in other games where you are bouncing between two different what do you call them? Like a different universe? No, that's not the right word. It's like a backwards version of regular world, an upside down, if you will, from Stranger Things. And usually when you play these games, the entire world change into that other one. So you'll go into the other world and the door will be open where it was formerly closed. But it's a bubble that radiates from the center of your body. So even though you might change and go to the other dimension, that's what I wanted. You'll go to the other dimension and things will be different. It'll only be inside of that bubble. So you have to open and shut this bubble correctly for what your character is doing, and it's really interesting. So you'll let's say like a platforming puzzle where certain platforms are only there in certain dimensions. So you'll jump midair, change, jump midair, change, and do this over and over. But there'll also be a butterfly in that whole exchange. That butterfly is just a butterfly in one world, but it's a fucking dragon that kills you in one hit in the other dimension. So as you're doing this jumping puzzle, you're trying not to turn this butterfly into the fucking dragon. So that's another little thing you have to worry about. I'm having a really good time with it. He said he bought it for me so that I could give him the Steam Deck review. I have not played on the Steam Deck. I think it'll play great because there's not a lot of like technical little hits. It's more about jumping and dimension hopping, which is just a couple buttons. So I think it's going to be really good for it. It's a very pretty game. I would recommend it. It's 88%, 90% on recommended. And yeah, it's Unbound Worlds Apart. There's another one called Unbound something else. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much. I will be playing it on my Steam Deck along with Rogue Legacy and Bino Vazik.
Nice.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks pretty.
All right. Well, I think that's it for all the games that we played this week. We've got a few listener questions, just 3. So we had too many last week and too few this week.
Guys, I think I get out of here. Otherwise, I'm going to eat a bunch of shit. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
brother's visiting. We got to try to make it to dinner before they close. So thank you, everybody. Preemptive
Do you wanna give us
titties
a-
once again. I got to stop leaving
All the
early. This
preemptive
sucks,
titties.
man. I know.
But
Bye,
we did start
everybody.
late tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, Fast, we were talking about you earlier, man.
I think he was here for that.
Yeah.
All right. First question coming from Warconius. Do you like to read books and take long walks on the beach?
I'll start.
I don't read books unless it's like a topic that I'm like insanely into, and even then, I still don't like reading books. It's one of the main reasons I like video games and like adaptations for movies and things. Although I've read books and seen the show or the movie, and obviously they just don't stack against each other. I've read a lot of the Warhammer book that kind of like establishes the universe, but I probably should read more. I mean, I have like 3 of them, so yeah.
All right. No comment on the beach.
I like the beach. The thing is, like in the South, it's like balls to the wall, like fucking hot, and like just musty. Like you just instantly start sweating anywhere you go, and so like I like the beach. I'm more of a mountain guy.
Okay.
I love to read books. I like to try and take time to read them. Lately, I've been listening to or trying to listen to more books at work, but I find that I prefer to listen to like nonfiction or I don't know, motivational, like real stuff. So yeah, nonfiction. Whereas I like to read nonfiction, or sorry, I like to read fiction. I don't know. I love laying in a hammock and reading a book. I think that that's one of the most peaceful things. And walking on the beach, I don't know. Part of me likes walking on the beach, but I'd rather walk through the woods or on a trail. If I'm gonna be on the beach, I'm gonna get in the water is what I'm gonna do, and I want to go swimming. So whenever I'm on a beach, I'm just like, yeah, look at that water. I'm gonna get in that water. So I don't normally spend too much time actually walking on the beach. I'll like go to the beach to get to the water typically.
Yeah, let me tell you something about the beach here in San Diego. It's great, but it's not really worth the hassle. At least not for me, not anymore. You talk to people who've been here forever, they'll tell you like, oh, in the 70s, yeah, you could just drive down there, park, walk right out on the beach. Now, no. You go down there, it takes about half an hour to find a spot. You got to sit and wait. Then you get onto the beach and it's just completely crowded. So yeah, I don't usually deal with that anymore.
I hear Black's Beach is pretty open. I mean, it's a nude beach, but heyo.
Black's Beach? I've never been there.
Yeah, it's over by the glider port, like the
Let's go ahead and
Torrey
take a
Pines
DLG
glider
field
point.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and reading, I like reading. I just don't have enough time to do it too often. All right. Another question from Orconius. What would you do if fear was not a factor and you could not fail? What causes you stress in your life? Are you too hard on yourself or not hard enough? These are deep questions.
I mean, damn, that is fucking deep.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got an answer?
Yeah, I'll go first. If I didn't have to deal with fear at all and I wouldn't fail, y'all would be looking at next like winning female rapper. I'd be a fucking rapper for sure. Yeah, nah, for sure.
No, I'm not laughing at the fact that you want to be a rapper. I just find it funny. You're like, I want to be the next fucking thing, bro.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've always loved hip hop and rap growing up, and I had a stint for a while where I was freestyling a lot. I think my SoundCloud is still up and shit. I'm sure it sounds awful, but I love I love that. I've always loved reading and poetry and rhythm. I played band and was playing drums all the time in band, and so I love the combination of poetry and rhythm. So I've always loved that. Oh no, that's not me, dude. No. Anyway, I'm on there somewhere. But so
Don't find me.
things that cause me stress in life definitely can be work, for sure. Just because my type of job is stressful. We deal with seeing if people have cancer, and it's typically a lot of shit, and you can't really roll into work like hungover or exhausted, and so it's kind of a high stress job, but it's worth it. And I don't know, that kind of stuff, yeah, tends to cause stress, and then that kind of leads into, I would probably say that I am too hard on myself at times. So yeah, I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was too hard on myself when I was young. Probably too easy on myself. Pretty lazy. Probably overcorrected on that recently, but oh well, what you gonna do? And I don't know. If fear was not a factor, the older I get, the less fear is a factor. Like I'm rapidly approaching that old man doesn't give a fuck kind of attitude. Like I don't know. I'm just not too, like, even at work, man, like sometimes I catch myself just saying things and I'm like, damn, dude, I really just said that in front of all these people. Okay. That's pretty fucking bold.
Why don't we just kill the kids, okay?
Well, I don't say that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like fear is holding me back from anything that I really want to do. Yeah.
For me, I think fear for it'd be stand-up comedy. Like if I couldn't fail, like I'd love to be a stand-up comic.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. You and Days both have something that's like a performing in front of people. So you have a fear in front of a fear of being in front of people.
I think the other thing that kind of sucks, like, because I've wanted to do like an open mic night and things like that, but like the one in town, like where I live, is it's like god awful as far as like what time it is, where it's at. Like it's just not conducive to like breeding new like comedians. So I don't know. Hopefully, when I move to Texas, I'll be able to actually do a couple open mic nights. Like I have material written and stuff. So as far
Nice.
as being too hard on myself, I would say that I'm more not. But when I am hard on myself, I feel like a piece of shit. So yeah.
All right. Next question from Death. What does the DLG cast think of one of my favorite games, Red Dead Redemption 2? We did play this when it came out. I remember a lot of people talking about it and a lot of people liking it. I played it a little bit myself, but right away I was just like, nah, not interested. This is a large game, and I don't do those games. You know, I'd say that about every type of game, it sounds like these days, but it's just a game that size I can't invest in. You don't play 5 hours of that game and just like move on, you know. It's like you either play it all or you don't play it at all.
For me, I liked Red Dead a lot. I got more than like 70% of the way through the game, and then my save got corrupted
Oh
Oof.
my God.
when I tried to transfer it from my PS4 to my PS5. And that's a game that you don't really restart and play over again because it's so
No.
fucking long, and there's so many non-skippable things. What I would like to do eventually, like if I ever like just win the lottery and just play video games all the time and not worry about being a parent, would be to probably play this game with like mods and like just skip a bunch of shit, like just download someone's save and just get to where I was. I think it's a great game. I think it's an end of an era. Like I think the third person, like free roam, open world, kind of peaked with this game, and like just whatever they come up with either has to be like revolutionary or they're just gonna have to change their direction. So
Yeah, well, that was one of the games that came out on console way before, maybe a year before it came out on PC.
I think it was a full year actually. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right.
it was like a full year. So everybody already knew what the game was. A lot of people had already played it, and then it came onto PC. So when we finally got it and everyone started playing it, it was there was no surprises, right? Like you knew exactly what you were getting, and you knew it was a great game. You knew what you were getting yourself into. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's enough Western games out there personally, but I don't know, those big open world games, it's just too much.
I don't know. I love it. I love the open world games, though. Of course I do. And I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't beat it. I got pretty far in it, and then I got completely sidetracked playing it because I started joining like role playing servers on it and played it online. And so when Red Dead Redemption 2 online came out, like, oh, that was awesome. And that was so funny, too, because I would, like, walk down into a little town and run into somebody and be like, howdy, partner. And then they'd fucking lasso me and throw me on the horse and start running away. And they'd be like, Cletus, we got another one, come on. And then, like, all of a sudden another dude comes out of nowhere. And, like, all those moments were so great. And so I love when you have these
You're
little,
like, I love
ro-
being kidnapped.
Well, no, I didn't, but it is funny, like with the role playing of it, you know, because then, and
Yeah,
also
of
too
course.
with the goofiness of that stuff too, because that same scenario where like I was, because they tie you up and throw you on the back of the horse, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't say I wanted to sign up with this kind of a ride, and like, so then you go riding around, and then like because of how big it was, and typically when you're riding on a horse, you can't always see all of the little dips and ends and like edges of cliffs, so like I definitely remember at one point a dude tripping over like a cliff and us both going down and then everybody dying, which is hilarious. And so I've always, I don't know, I really like Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's something that made me think of when I was working in Texas, and something I loved about Texas, because to me Texas looks like Red Dead Redemption 2 with a graphics card that hasn't come out yet, because our eyeballs are amazing at processing what we're seeing. And so I don't know, I love the game, I think it's great, but I am also a big fan of Rockstar just to begin with and the stuff they put out.
Have you ever seen that video of like people dying absolutely like to insane shit? Like I think like some guy's playing the story mode. He's like playing as like Arthur Morgan, and he gets off of his horse, and like he trips down a hill, and like there's been like videos of people falling down the same hill and like living, but he falls on the hill and just hits his head on a rock, and you're like, God, that's just way too fucking
Wasted.
accurate.
Yeah, dude.
Like normal people just roll down the hill. He just cracks his head on a fucking rock and dies. You're like, whoa.
It's real, dude. It
Oh, yeah.
happens. Yep. Yeah, no, it's good. I love it. It's fun.
Do you want to read the next one, Bobby?
Next one is from Lasagna McGillicuddy. Intellectual properties occasionally change hands for better or worse. What are some notable examples in your opinion? And are there any IPs that you'd be interested in seeing a different developer take a crack at?
I would like. So, I mean, as a Metal Gear Solid fan, I would like to see Metal Gear Solid be sent to Kojima Studios, only because like they've already said that they want to remake one and like a bunch of other things, and like Kojima's like, I'm done with the Metal Gear Solid series, but I really wanted to finish it, but I didn't really get to finish it, and a bunch of other shit. Also, Silent Hill. I want to see
Ooh.
a Kojima Silent Hill because we had PT and that scared the fucking underwear off me, even though it was like 30 minutes long. I think lastly is like I'd like to see Fallout made in an engine that isn't 20 years old and runs like Dookie. So I can't think of a studio right now, but I'd like to see Fallout actually made by people who care and not people that just want to make money. So, yeah.
That's the real trick.
Yeah, I can't necessarily think off the top of my head some examples that have changed for better or worse. I know that an IP I'd be definitely interested seeing kind of piggyback a little bit with Fallout, but of a different vein. I'd love to see an Elder Scrolls game made by Rockstar Studios. I think that'd be
See, that
fascinating.
would be awesome.
Like, what if they made
that-
like the Dark Brotherhood and added elements of like Grand Theft Auto to that? That'd be hilarious. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna steal a Stilt Strider. Just- like, that'd be so
steal
funny,
this
dude.
kid.
It'd be so funny. Like, you gotta go talk to the Grandmaster. And, like, you ride a horse
at
up
me
to like a
again.
corner in Balmora, and like, that'd be so funny. I'd love that.
I know I've said this before, but I would like to see what's the developer of the XCOM games. It escapes me right now. But I'd like to see them make a Star Wars game, particularly a tactical turn-based one based on the Bad Batch. Firaxis, that's who it is. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, there's probably other developers out there that can do turn-based strategy games really well, but I feel like Firaxis, they really nailed it with those XCOM games. Star Wars is an interesting IP, though, because that has bounced around all over the place. I feel like I always want another Star Wars game, yet there are so many out there. We've seen it in we've seen RPGs. I'm sorry, we've got a dog that is just rolling on the carpet here in complete ecstasy. Like he is just having himself a day.
We
and distracting
vacuumed
me.
it, and he is
Yeah.
just like,
Oh my God.
he is in heaven.
Go.
Get
Go.
out, Jacko.
There he goes. Okay. But yeah, we've seen Star Wars in like every form, right? A first-person shooter, an RPG, grand strategy. Like we've seen it all. You know, at this point, I don't know if there's anything new you can do, but have we seen a tactical turn-based Star Wars game yet?
I don't think so. I want to see like a Star Wars Grand Theft Auto. Now that you say it, I'm
Rockstar's just taking
Steal that
every
speeder.
IP.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right, that I might play. I don't know. Those RPG games, like Knights of the Old Republic, I mean, they're not really like Rockstar games, but they are pretty big games.
Pretty out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty free.
Yeah,
So I think we're great.
yeah. I played the second one all the way through, but not quite the first one. Only the first 4 or 5 hours of that one. I spent like 10 hours modding it and 5 hours playing it. You know, that classic thing.
Aren't they remaking it?
I don't know. I
Or
feel like they're
remastering
always
it?
saying that.
No, yeah, I think they're like actually doing it though. Like they've put a big chunk of money down and they're working on it in like secret.
Hmm.
Well, they're not publishing what they've started doing.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. All right, folks. I think
Yeah,
that's the
it's gonna be
show.
amazing.
What's everybody playing next week?
V Rising.
Yeah, fucking V
Because
Rising.
Days makes me want to play games that I shouldn't be playing. So yeah,
I know,
that one.
dude. Yeah, you know what? We can sell our souls together at the castle I don't know, Blood Shrine. Oh, the Castle Heart. There we go.
I'm gonna be a cool vampire and just wear nothing but black, so can't associate with you.
There's a lot of that. It'll be fine.
I don't know what I'm going to play next week. I feel like I had something lined up. Like I saw something in my library, or actually no, in Emilio's library. Oh, that's what it was. Monster Train. Is that the name of the game? Monster Train. Yeah. So they had their 2-year anniversary. The game's on sale right now, but I'm just going to play it off Emilio's account. We'll see how that goes. And that's another card battler game, and I'm kind of at the point where I just cannot play Slay the Spire. I just can't touch it because if I do, it's just going to be a whole thing I fall into. So yeah, I want to check out Monster Train. I like the sound of that. I know they do a few things different, and it sounded really cool. And I think they're doing something special for their 2-year anniversary, but I can't remember what. All right, and that's it.
That's it. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty quick episode, an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to sign us off here?
I'll do it. Thanks, everybody, for listening and checking out. And until next time, vampire titties.
So are we doing the meeting some other time?
Yeah.
I thought that was next week.
Oh, that is next week.
When's Memorial Day?
Next week.
Next week, yeah.
Next Monday.
Okay. Ooh, it's late.
Yep.
I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye,
Yep.
Nick.